Welcome to Meaningful Mornings. I want you to imagine that you no longer have access to your guide, to your maps, to your divinity. Try to imagine that you no longer have faith in your guides, in your maps, in your divinities. Do you feel good about this? We are very much creatures of habit, and our habit is in sight, in mind. And so, naturally then, out of sight, out of mind. Meaningful Mornings is a community, is an effort for us to change our habit by keeping our trust triangle in sight. Our guides, our maps, our divinities, so much so that even when they're not in sight, we still keep them in mind. Now stop imagining you don't have this, because you do. We do have access. We do have faith. Prince Arjuna is struggling with moha. Moha means confusion. He presents this as being confused about what to do. But if you're ever confused about what to do, that's indicative that you're confused about who you are. If your identity is set, your responsibility will be set. So he's confused about who he is. And Prince Arjuna is great because in his confusion, what did he do? He asked the wise about what to do. This is really him asking, who am I? And he presents this in chapter 2, verse 7, where he expresses, Yat Shreyaha Syat. Teach me that which is for my welfare. Not a relative welfare, but an absolute welfare. And he uses the word nishchitam. This is a lovely word. We recently came across this in our Upanishad course also. Nishchitam means without doubt. And an associated word is nishchayena or nishchaya, which means determination. I've been reflecting a lot on my past 15 years of studying and sharing Sanatana Dharma. I'll be meeting Pujya Swami Tejomayananda soon. And whenever you meet your guide, it's an overt opportunity for you to reflect on, are you utilizing what they have offered you, what they've gifted you, what they've blessed you with? So my reflections have become more intense. And a conclusion that I've come up with, any deficiencies in my personality or my path is because of a lack of willpower. I don't need to know more about what's right and wrong, nor do you. It is willpower to follow what is right. Whenever you pray to your trust triangle, I'm suggesting to you to pray for more willpower, to follow that which is right. After Prince Arjuna expresses this to Sri Krishna, what does Sri Krishna do? He smiles. Prahasanna. He smiles because Prince Arjuna's confusion is temporary. How can it be permanent when Sri Krishna is there? And then Bhagavad Gita begins and ends in chapter 2, verse 11. Teach me what is the best. And Sri Krishna responds with, Na anushochanti panditaha. Panditaha, those who follow that which is right. They are the ones who are the pandits, not those who are scholarly. And if they do, anushochanti, that means stress, anxiety, and most of all, dejection. Na, they don't experience this. Prince Arjuna is confused. He asks for guidance. Shri Krishna smiles and shares. Those who follow me, they don't experience dejection, anxiety, stress. If I can share this in a simpler way, Shri Krishna is sharing here, don't worry. And how can we not worry? It's when we are being happiness. That is the Gita, the song from Bhagwan is be happiness. And if you are, then naturally you're not going to worry. Verses 12 to 29 are different perspectives on this one message. Bhagavad Gita is in one verse, that is 2:11. There are different perspectives to understand this more. Those are verses 11 all the way to 29. This is the original Bhagavad Gita. For the best student, Bhagavad Gita ends with verse 30, which I'll elaborate on right now. In verse 30, Shri Krishna summarizes what he's taught from 11 to 29, sharing, you are the Spirit. All are the Spirit. Now think about this. Prince Arjuna's question was, guide me to what is the best. And Shri Krishna's teaching is, you are the Spirit. And all are the Spirit. He doesn't share anything about this is your responsibility, this is the karma you should get into. He's teaching him who he is. Now, test your own efforts. What are you doing all day? What are you doing all week, month, year, decade, lifetime? Are you trying to know who you are? Or are you only engaging at the surface level, which is what you're supposed to do? Bhagavad Gita is not about dharma. Dharma is your responsibilities. That's the means. Bhagavad Gita is about Brahma. That is the ends or the spirit. With the completion of verse 30, Shri Krishna has shared with Prince Arjuna two strong perspectives on how he can be the best. The first perspective is know vastness. In these verses, he's teaching him about the spirit. The second perspective, which is coming down, is no change. If you know change, then you won't stress or feel anxiety or dejection when change comes. And Prince Arjuna relates to this, but not fully. So now Sri Krishna comes down one more perspective. No vastness, no change. Now he's coming to no responsibility. Everyone caught that awesome acronym? Yes, VCR. Remember VCRs? So vastness and change and responsibility. We are in chapter 2. I've said that 14 times already. And now we're getting into this new perspective, which starts in verse 31. For some of you, when there's loss in your life, someone is unwell or someone who has passed away, this is the section that is to be reflected on and repeated. Chapter 2, verse 11 to 30. This is the original Bhagavad Gita. The seed of Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 11. And if you really want to mess with that negative situation, then also include verse 10, where Shri Krishna is smiling. Then maybe others will too. Verse 31. Swadharmam api cha veksha navikampitum arhasi dharmyadi yuddha shreyonyat kshatriyasya na vidyate. The first quarter, Shri Krishna shares. Aveksha, which means to see. What should you also see? Swadharma, which means your responsibility. Vastness, that's like a PhD message. Change, that's like a master's level message. Now he's coming down to responsibility. That's like an undergraduate level message. Know your responsibility. This word aveksha means to see, but you can't see the spirit. The implication of this is understand. Understand where your responsibilities have come from. Understand what happens if you follow them and you don't follow them. Now I want to zoom into this word dharma and swadharma. There is only one swadharma. Dharma means nature, swa means self. We all have the same swadharma. That was shared in verse 30. You are the spirit, all are the spirit. But how we come to know that differs based on our personalities. Some are more active, some are more lazy, some are more devotional, some are more insightful, some have harder context, some have smoother context. So our dharma is different, our swadharma is not. And our dharma changes. Think about when you were 10 years old, your dharma was to brush your teeth. Now you're 50 years old, that dharma has changed. It's still to brush your teeth, but so much more has been added on to that. Then, na vikampitum arhasi, if you understand your responsibility, vikampitum means to shake. Another definition is to waver. When it's your responsibility to wake up early and be part of Meaningful Mornings on time, what does shaking or wavering from that feel like? Complaining, blaming, and annotating. What does shaking from your responsibility? Checking in, you can hear me and see me. We're not playing around with our Zoom settings. Blaming. Why did Vivekji start Meaningful Mornings? Now if he doesn't see me, he's going to judge me. And annotating. This we do in such a causal way, we feel we're an exception. Please reflect on that. As long as you feel you're an exception, you will never be exceptional. That is a very secular mindset, that I'm an exception to the rules or responsibilities. If you understand your responsibility, you will feel more joyous and complain less, blame less, and annotate less. Third quarter, dharmyadi yudachreyonya. Shri Krishna tells Prince Arjuna, your dharma, and he uses the word shreya. That's what Prince Arjuna asked for. Your dharma is to fight. Now, he uses the word fight because Prince Arjuna's context is that he is a prince, that he is a warrior. Bhagavad Gita is to be reflected on. If I take this literally, I should fight. And here I may win a little bit, but eventually I'm going to lose. I'm not a fighter. I'm not designed to physically do this. And so we have to reflect on, what is my right action? And then that has to be accentuated with the right attitude. I can engage in the right action, and I can do that without understanding. But aveksha, with the right understanding, I also engage in this with the right attitude. And finally, he emphasizes this more. Kshatriyasya na vidyate. For you, Prince Arjuna, this is what is best. A kshatriya, contrary to our understanding, is one who protects. What is the best way to protect someone? Help them to be independent. That is the best way. It is not through fighting only or weapons only, but rather to make one independent. If we just think of America, what is the best way to protect America? For people to feel secure. The more secure I feel, the less violent I am. Me trying to deal with violence is the Band-Aid solution. Me helping people feel more secure, they never have to put anyone else down there. So we are all protectors. You are a kshatriya also. From inspiration to application. I write down my notes for meaningful mornings every morning. We're in chapter. We're almost 900 mornings into meaningful mornings, but I never brought my notes because I didn't know that I had to teach chapter 2, verse 31. And so I have nothing to debrief on your previous application because I don't know what it is. So you can go back into your notes and figure that out. But your application for this morning, this special morning, whenever you have an opportunity to attend a satsang, a workshop live, attend live. Don't depend on the recording. That's the passive way of study. Experience all of this live. Shanti, Shanti, Shantihi. Be safe, be sound, be serene, be joy.